What's up, guys? It is Mark, and we are in the lab today, and we are talking about the dreaded oil cooler in the Jeep JK, and specifically the brand new aluminum housing from Doorman that is supposed to fix this problem. Let's see. All right, guys, so if you own a JK, your 2012, basically your 3.6 Pentastar, you are probably familiar with the oil cooler housing failing. If it hasn't, prepare for it. It's going to happen. And the reason why they're saying is because, as you can see here, in the old one, all of this is plastic. Yep, it's dripping. Just pulled that one out of a Jeep. Now, I haven't seen, it's not like a noticeable massive crack across it. I don't know if it's from when, Jiffy Lube or whoever does the oil changes, they tighten down too hard on it. And the fact that it goes flat and then up at an angle, that twists. There's a series of seals underneath. If the seals are going bad, whether it just heats and distorts over time, basically they're a known failure. I've replaced it in both of my JKUs. I usually get a couple every month on this. And normally I only do the OEM one. There's a lot of them out there on Amazon. They're like $100, $150. And I know specific to your VIN, there is a couple variations of these for your JK that they can go upwards of $400, $500 depending on your region. I think when I was up in DC, it was like $500, but then down here locally, I've got it for around $250 from a dealer. So the price does vary. This Doorman one is available on Amazon. It's available through your local auto parts store. I think this one the customer actually bought at Advanced Auto Parts. Took a couple days to get in. They didn't have it on the shelf, but I say it was roughly around $230 for this whole piece. So you notice some stuff is missing here. Yes, it does actually reuse the top portion, the cooler, as well as the two plugs that are on there. It does come with new seals for the bottom. What I've done is I've actually put little dabs of RTV. That way, when I go to set it down, I don't have to worry about these guys moving. So the RTV is kind of curing as we speak right now. And then there's another little O-ring here on the bottom. So basically, we're going to remove that top part. We're going to put some new gaskets also that are here. They're not on. We'll sandwich that together. We'll take our plugs, put it all, and then we will reuse the top, the O-ring here with the filter attached as well going in. So this is the second time doing this one. The customer was very adamant, like, hey, is this going to fix the problem? I don't like to just say yes because these are so new to the market. I want to say they announced them a couple years ago, maybe at SEMA, two SEMAs ago, but we didn't actually see them come out and be released until recently. So the jury is still out. I'm not going to say, hey, these guys go out and buy these right now, because only time is really going to tell if this is a permanent fix. Now, again, I've looked over these various oil coolers and tried to find where cracks are, and there's nothing jumping out at me. So it may be like a hairline crack, something that once the pressure is in there from the coolant going through. But a telltale sign on these is when you look actually down in the engine bay, follow where your oil filter goes, shine a light down in there, and typically you'll see a pool of coolant mixed with oil down in there, and that's a sign that it's starting to leak or it is leaking. I've seen people have puddles the size of a quarter, and I've had personal experience where I've come out after wheeling and I've had a ginormous mess underneath my Jeep, and I'm like, crap, what did I break? And then when you look under the Jeep, you'll see right where the transmission and the engine connect, it's flowing down both sides of there, because the way it's designed is when you're giving it gas, it's gonna all take gravity and come out the back side. So for those of you who haven't done this, I wouldn't recommend just your average Joe. I don't think there's like one specialty tool as far as getting the bits on this guy, the bolts on that guy to come off. But while we're out, we like to clean the injectors. We like to clean the plenum. The one thing with this guy is it comes with all new plenum gaskets, which I normally recommend, and they cost extra when you're at the dealer, upwards of like 60, 70 bucks just for those guys at the dealer. When you order this, it already comes with the new ones. So you can see here, we've already removed them on the top and we've removed them on the bottom. We're getting ready to clean this guy up. And then we've also got our injectors all pulled out, which you can see they're pretty cruddy. So we're actually gonna take all that, clean all the O-rings. We're gonna lube those O-rings on those injectors so that they pop in, but I'll show you here down the engine bay what it looks like when everything's pulled out. So here is everything opened up. You can see down in the valley here, that's where that is actually gonna go. Those are all where it connects at. We did go ahead and put some paper towels in here. That's just to prevent anything from falling down in there. And if you haven't done this before, rent one of these, ask a buddy for one of these, because we all know with all these big old bumpers, light bars, winches, that it's a pain to lean over this Jeep, especially after it's been lifted. This is a lifesaver. I wouldn't even try doing these if I didn't have that. Also, get you a shop vac because you're gonna have a lot of fluid, you're gonna have a lot of dirt, and this is after we've actually partially cleaned it. But you can see the dirt and the mud like to get all in here. So we're trying to get it as clean as possible. That way we have a nice mating surface when all the new seals go back together. I would say it takes a couple hours to do this, but again, if you've never messed with anything like this, it can be a little tricky. So I would take it to a shop. Some dealerships charge upwards of over $1,000. We're a little bit less than the dealers, not significantly, but a little bit more than half of what the dealers are around here. And again, couple hour job. We like to clean up everything, but you've got to take your air intake off. You've got to take the whole top of the plenum off. Couple sensors. You've got to take your fuel rail out. So there's quite a few things to be taken off, and they have to be put back in the correct order, or you're going to have fuel leaks. You're going to have leaks in the air system. So don't know if I would really recommend it for a DIY person, but if you've got patience, time, and you don't need the Jeep back in a hurry, you may be able to knock this one out. All right, guys, so as you saw there, I actually put a little bit of gasket maker, a little bit of RTV. And the reason why I chose to do that is because once you turn this guy, this is the bottom side, once you turn this upside down, I wanna make sure that these gaskets stay in place. So as soon as I opened them up out of the box, I went ahead and did this here first. So just one thing that I would say, if you decide to do this aluminum housing, I recommend that. So this part is gonna be a T30 torque. So we're just putting this guy back together. We did put the new seals in there, and we did put a little dab of Loctite on this guy. We're gonna kind of crisscross applesauce here. Get that to start sinking a little bit, and then I'm just using electric just to get it started. And I'll come back by hand and I'll torque all these. All right, we'll torque all these guys down. Now you are gonna need a 27 deep, and you are going to need a 19 deep to get these two sensors off here. So that's what we're gonna do next. Then we'll pull the top and the filter. We'll torque everything down. And that's pretty much it for building the Doorman oil cooler, but we'll show you here the pics after. All right, so we got this sensor out. We got the other one. Believe it or not, the smaller one, the 19, is a lot harder to get out. You might have to put it in a vise, the old one too. But we went ahead and took the top off, got that guy installed. So now it's just gonna be install these guys, and then get it ready to put back in the Jeep. So we're gonna go ahead and, we already cleaned this up here. We took a little wire brush right here, cleaned up all the threads. We're gonna put a little bit of tape back on there. Again, we're gonna recheck all our torque on everything, and then it's install time. Well guys, again, not really an install video, just kind of an overview on this guy here, what all comes with. It does come with the new bolts. As you can see, the old bolts are still in here. They're kind of locked down in there, so it does come with 5 new bolts. You do reuse the bolts on here. You reuse the sensors, reuse the cap and the current filter. It does not come with a new filter. And then it comes with all new gaskets for your upper and lower plenum gaskets. So that's nice. And a little bit less expensive than the OEM one replacement that could possibly fail again. Don't forget, clean your injectors, clean all the connections, any kind of mating surface, wipe it down. We put a little lubricant on these guys here just so they pop in a little bit better, and then we're also going to lubricate our little gaskets that go on top. But again, only time is going to tell if this is a permanent fix, solution to the problem. We don't know yet, but it is a little bit less expensive way to go. It's a common thing on the Jeep JKs. So that's it, guys. If you got any questions, comments, put them below. Anything that you want to ask about this that I maybe forgot to mention, I will do my best to answer it. And as always, like, subscribe, and hit that notifications button, guys, so you'll get notified as soon as we put out a video. We're gonna try to keep them rolling and keep more coming to you. But again, thanks for the support. We're coming up on our 4-year anniversary here in February, so we're super excited and thankful for all of that. But until next time, guys, see ya.